The Liberal Party's cooked and the election result proved me right. Let's talk about it. I've been saying for months now that the Liberal Party is cooked. And of course, the election result proved me right. The disastrous showing at the polls brought me no joy, well, maybe a little joy. The coalition's failure to stand for conservative values has left our nation at the mercy of the most radical left-wing government in Australian history. We're now staring down the barrel of a decade of socialist Labor rule. And God help us, because of the Liberal Party, they certainly won't. Now, for months, political commentators who enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought have berated me for not backing Peter Dutton's Liberals. Dutton is a true conservative, they said. The Liberal Party can save us, they insisted, clinging to a delusion unsupported by reality. I never bought into it. Dutton bragged about not knowing Donald Trump, as if having no relationship with the most effective conservative leader of our generation was a bloody virtue. He couldn't even define a woman when asked following the UK Supreme Court's ruling that sex is a biological reality. And he apologised when Senator Jacinta Price used the phrase, "Make Australia great again." Those three moments alone should have rung alarm bells, but it gets worse. When Anthony Albanese started spending like a drunken sailor, Dutton effectively said, "Hold my beer." Conservatives are supposed to be prudent economic managers. Dutton had no plan to return to surplus. "We won't be as bad as Labor" is not a strategy. It is a surrender. I could go on and on and on, and I will. Dutton didn't oppose the social media ban for under 16s. He supported it. He repeatedly praised the authoritarian e-safety commissioner. His party drafted the original misinformation and disinformation bill. He backed Labor's digital ID legislation because it was originally a Liberal Party idea. He supports the net zero fantasy. He refuses to challenge the WHO, the UN, or the WEF. When Labor proposed constitutional recognition for the voice, Dutton's bold alternative was to legislate it instead. He supported the so-called hate crimes bill. He supports mass migration at unsustainable levels. And under his watch, the coalition helped drive our national debt beyond $1 trillion. There's more, but you get the idea, you get the point. Dutton and the Liberals are not and were never the solution. They barely even qualified as an opposition. Labor light through and through. That's what they were. And Dutton hoped to slip into the lodge without anyone noticing. Instead, he slipped quietly into the night, leaving behind a political carcass for the few remaining Liberal MPs who weren't hurled out by an electorate that chose the devil they knew. The coalition has been reduced to a parliamentary rump. They'll spend the next decade in opposition. It's a disaster for them, but a greater disaster for the country. Australians are right to be furious at a pivotal moment in our nation's history, in our nation's story, when the country desperately needed a conservative alternative. It was nowhere to be found. So what now? The Liberal Party must be burned to the ground and rebuilt, if it can be rebuilt. And that's a big if. Are there even enough men and women left in the Liberal Party who still believe in traditional conservative values? At the moment, I don't think so. The country needs leaders who care more about the nation than their dumb careers. Leaders who care more about Australian sovereignty than applause from global elites. Leaders with the courage of their convictions. And for heaven's sake, if you don't even have the spine to define what a woman is, what chance do you have of standing up for anything else? Here's how deep the rot runs. In the aftermath of his humiliating defeat, former Senator Simon Birmingham suggested the solution might be gender quotas for candidates. Yes. A senior leader believes the answer is more identity politics. It would be shocking if it weren't so depressingly predictable. The Liberal Party is overrun with a swarm of not quite socialists and not at all conservatives who generally don't understand why the electorate holds them in contempt. We love to mock the Greens, but at least the Greens are honest about what they stand for. Too many Liberals would be more at home in the Labor Party. Until these pretenders, Birmingham among them, are purged and replaced with real Conservatives, the coalition is finished. But there is another way. The public, weary of debt, division and decline, will turn to genuine Conservatives. To those who never flinched, to those who stood tall when it mattered, there will come a time when this nation, bloated by subsidies and addicted to handouts, will go searching for real solutions, and we will be here. Funnily enough, many of those who spent the past 3 years mocking me for my principled, staunch positions are now gone, tipped out by voters who deserved better. I fear the Liberal Party's time is probably up. Perhaps, just perhaps, they can rise again as a truly conservative force, but only if they have the humility to learn from their failures and the courage to cast out the fakes. If not, then they must step aside, because while they pander to focus group, I stand firm. When they compromise their beliefs, I hold the line. When they apologize for speaking the truth, I never do. When they water down their ideas to appease the leftist hordes, I stand my ground. While they bow to the media class, I refuse to kneel. The voters are waking up, and when they come looking for leadership, real leadership, I'll be here. Ready, unmoved, unashamed, unafraid. I'm Senator Alphabet for United Australia Party.